Hello, friends. Today I am going to explain to you guys about the movie The Mine. At the beginning of the story, two American shoulders are shown. They are Mike and Tommy. Mike is a sharpshooter. They are on a desert mission. They are waiting for the terrorists there. After some time they saw that some people are gathering there. This is a wedding ceremony. There was that terrorist also which they were looking for. Mike aims at him. But before Mike pulls the trigger, Groom comes in front of that terrorist. Mike waits for him to move. While he was waiting for him to move, one of the members of that terrorist group saw a reflection that was coming from the scope of Mike's gun. He understands that someone is watching them and he starts to shoot in that direction. And they start to run away from that place. Mike and Tommy also start to shoot at them. The terrorist group starts to search for Mike and Tommy and they hide behind a rock. They knew that they cannot hide with them for long. But they were lucky. They saw a desert storm coming towards them. Because of that storm, the terrorist group goes away from there. Mike and Tommy were stuck in that storm. They asked for help with the U.S. Army. And they said, "You have to reach the nearest village. We will send a rescue team there." But to reach the closest village, they have to walk for 5 hours. The storm stops and they start to move towards that village. After walking for some hours, a metal plate comes flying in front of them. That plate had a danger sign on it. Mike said to Tommy that we should not go forward because there is an active war going on in North Africa from the last 40 years, and there are many places where they have planted landmines, and this is one of those places. But Tommy doesn't agree with him. Tommy said that this is the shortest way to the village. We will reach there sooner. Tommy also said that we have two options: either we die here or we go to the village and save ourselves. Mike doesn't want to move forward, but he doesn't have another choice. Tommy starts to move ahead to show Mike that there are no mines here, but at that time he steps at one mine and it explodes. Due to that blast, Tommy loses his both legs. Mike tries to help Tommy, but when he takes his first step, he heard a sound of a click. He understands that he stepped on a mine. If he removes his leg from there, that mine will also go off. Mike wants to help his friend. Mike tells his friend Tommy to ask for help on the radio, but Tommy was in pain and he couldn't even move. Tommy injects himself with the painkiller. Tommy tries to ask for help on the radio. He was in severe pain. Due to his pain, he couldn't understand what he was doing and he was unable to connect with the U.S. Army. Mike couldn't see his friend in that situation and he tries to help Tommy. But Tommy doesn't want his friend Mike to remove his leg. After that, Tommy takes out a gun and tells Mike that you have to survive, and he shoots himself. Now Mike is stuck there alone. He doesn't know what to do. First, he tries to calm himself. And with the help of an axe, he pulls the bag of radio towards him. He saw that there is no battery left on the radio. Another battery of that radio was with Tommy. Mike charges the battery with the help of solar energy. After that, he calls the U.S. Army and tells them about the situation. He said that "I need help. My friend is dead." His senior tells him that "We could not send you air support because of the desert storm, but we are sending a team to rescue you, but it will take 52 hours to reach them to you." Now Mike has to survive in this desert for 52 hours alone. Mike was sad because his best friend was dead. While he was thinking about his friend, he saw that another storm was heading towards him. Mike covers his face and he used his gun as support. His eyes were closed, that's why he couldn't see anything. He survived the storm. When he opens his eyes, he saw that his friend's dead body was near him. Mike took the battery from his friend's body, but unfortunately the radio was blown away due to the storm. He drinks all of his water. Mike was hungry and thirsty. Mike has to survive for 52 hours. But as time passes, he starts to lose his patience. He took his gun out and starts to shoot in the sky and he shouts asking for help, but there was no one around. He points his gun towards himself and tries to kill himself. But at that time he saw a man coming towards him. He was from the nearest village. Mike tells him all about his situation. But that man tells Mike to step forward. And Mike tells him that if I move from here, this mine will go off. That man goes closer to the Mike, but he was not moving in the straight direction, he was moving in a zigzag direction. Mike gave him his empty water bottle. Mike also asks that man to bring that radio to him. But that man didn't bring that. That man again said to Mike that he should step forward, and he goes from there. After standing there for many hours, Mike saw a little girl. She was also moving in a zigzag direction like that villager. She gave Mike water, and she takes out a toy from her pocket and showed it to Mike. Mike also had the same toy with him which he found in the same desert. Mike gave that toy to the little girl. Mike again asks for the radio with the little girl. That girl also didn't help him with it. This little girl is the daughter of that villager. Now that little girl also goes from there. Now the sun goes down. Mike has a mobile phone where he is watching a recorded message from his wife. She was saying that she will be waiting for him. Mike got emotional at that point. Mike burns a fire for him. He was very tired and he was about to fall asleep. His fire went off. He starts to hear the sounds of wild dogs. They start to come closer towards the Mike. Mike also starts shooting at them, but it was very dark and he was not able to see them. Mike saw one of them with the help of a torch, and he was able to shoot him. That dog fell into a mine due to which there was a blast. The rest of the dogs get scared and they ran away from there. The next morning the same villager comes again and he was amazed seeing Mike alive. He said to Mike that how did you manage to survive from the wild animals the whole night without even moving? He again tells Mike to take his step forward. But Mike doesn't listen to him. Mike said that you know the location of mines, that's why you move in a zigzag direction. Villager replies saying I don't know the location of mines, but if I move in a straight direction I will step on a mine, that's why I move in a zigzag direction. Mike again asks for the radio and this time the villager gives the radio to Mike and he goes from there. Now Mike starts to have illusions. He sees his friend Tommy in front of him which is already dead. Tommy says to Mike, why are you still here? You should have returned home, your wife is waiting for you. Mike starts to have flashbacks of his pasts. He thinks that he wasn't behaving well with his wife. Now it's again night. He was again surrounded by those wild dogs. They start to attack Mike. Mike was able to beat them again. The next morning he checks his watch and there were still 7 hours left for the rescue team to reach there. Mike was there for 45 hours. Mike was standing in the same place for 45 hours. Mike gets a call from his senior. His senior told him that the rescue team will not be able to reach there at the time. They're 10 hours late, which means he has to wait for them for 17 hours more. His senior asks him, can you do it? And he answers no. His senior tells him that someone wants to talk with him. He heard the voice of his wife and he apologizes for his bad behavior. He tells his wife that he shouldn't have come there, he should have stayed there with her. Here Mike sees his wife sitting on the sofa in front of him. This was his illusion. He tries to reach her. Mike was very tired and he starts to fall. But before his foot was off the mine, that villager comes and catches him. He starts to tell Mike his story. He said that I also stepped in a mine, because of that I lost my one leg. When I was taken to the hospital there was a radio playing the song, You Got to Keep Moving On. But I wasn't listening to that song. I was only thinking about my leg. I was thinking that now my whole life would be difficult. While I was thinking all that, a nurse came there and smiled. And after that, I heard that song. After that I met my wife, she took care of me. We had a child. Sometimes bad incidents also bring good things into our life, that's why we should not give up. I take out mines from the ground and sell them. And after taking out the mines I put their tin cans so that army doesn't get to know that I'm taking out the mines and selling them. Mike tells the villager, I've met your daughter. She is very beautiful. But the villager tells Mike that some years ago my daughter died because she stepped into one of these mines. This is your illusion that you're seeing my daughter with me. Villager also said that life has taken many things from me. But no matter how hard life is, we always have to keep moving forward. After that, villager goes from there. Mike also sees his daughter with him. After some time, Mike saw his daughter disappearing. Mike again starts to have illusions. Now he is in his childhood memories. He remembers the moment when his father is hitting his mom. He also saw his mother in the hospital. Soon he gets out of his illusion because he was shot by the terrorists, which we saw at the beginning of the movie. They start to shoot again and Mike also shoots back. Mike was successful in killing almost all of them and there was only one terrorist left. But when he tries to shoot, he was out of bullets. All of these were his illusions. Now his dad is in front of him and he hugs Mike. Mike realizes that all people he has been hating his entire life actually all loved him. The rescue time is almost there, but it's very difficult to see him in this desert. Mike has only one way to tell his location, and that is a flare gun, which is a little far from him. Mike has to move from there to get that flare gun, otherwise he will die there of hunger and thirst. Mike thinks for a second and he steps forward. But there was no explosion. Mike was shocked after seeing this. And when Mike digs the place, he found a tin can. As that villager said that he takes out the mines and puts tin can there, and when Mike opens that tin can there was a shoulder toy. This incident changed his whole life. After some days he is in his country. His wife has come to the airport to pick him up. Mike kneels in front of her. Now Mike knows the importance of life and he knows that we always have to be happy no matter what. We have to keep moving whatever the situation is. And bad incidents also brings good things to the life. Thank you for watching our video. Please don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.